Man, when I say Wargaming finally did something right for a change, they did something right for a change. They are finally doing some tank rebalancing and nerfs. And no, it's not going to be just the same old vehicle rebalancing and vehicle nerfs. No, 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 no. They are doing stuff, and it is going to change some things. Let me show you what I mean. You get your typical commanders over the years, just saying how stuff ran out of balance and everything. Premium tanks, tier 5 to 8, tier 10s, and reward vehicles. This is going to be the big one right here. Vehicles that they're rebalancing just to get up. Patriot, Liberté, Primo, Pilot, Centurion, SV, Turtle, all getting buffs. Patriot, all types of speed buffs, aim times, dispersions, stuff that needed it. Same thing going on with the Liberté, same stuff, dispersion, whole speed, view range is getting a nice buff, aim time's getting a nice buff, dispersion, not too bad. Pilot, not bad, needing it with the shell pen, especially with how many tanks are getting more heavily armored, increasing the velocity, nice all around stuff with the pilot. Probably one of the dumbest things that they've done with the Centurion, because I think they're doing the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing with the Primo, so don't know why they're just doing that for a thing, but they did that also with a couple of the tanks from the British line, so scratching my head with that one. SV's finally getting some love, better dispersion, same thing that they're getting, more view range, and the gun's getting a little nice buff, so that's nice for the DPM. And then Turtle, one of my favorite tanks, nice speed buff of 5, nice reverse speed, dispersion, just all nice buffs all around for the Turtle, so Turtle's getting a nice love out of this. Tech tree tanks, really it's the British heavy lines, couple of these, just some out of who really plays these tanks really, honestly, unless you're just trying to grind the lines. You know, Churchill, standard stuff, same thing with this one's getting a speed buff. Ooh, speed buff on the Churchill. 7, that's actually nice. Same thing with the Black Prince. AMX MC46, getting a nice little buff with the gun and dispersion. Some hull armor. Let's see. AMX getting some hull armor buffs, a little bit with the view range. They're putting the gun back. So more love for that tank, as much as people don't like it. Tank way overdue for love is the VK45A. Way needed. It needed this very badly. Armor buff, HP buff, aim time, dispersion, reload for the 105 gun. Just much needed love for that tank. T69, just really dispersion and oh wow, finally penetration increasing on this. Way over needed with how everything is. 280 still, and it's still actually not going to be not bad for a tier 8, but still going to struggle with those tier max, and it's getting a reload, so that's nice. Patriot, just slight love, standard pen, nice 212, so it's going to have somewhat of like the old Super P pen, so that ain't going to be too bad. Bulldog, pen buffs, slight pen buff, just little minor stuff for the Bulldog, but who's playing that nowadays? AT-15, just like with the other ones, all the British tanks, top speed, dispersion, not bad stuff. Alright, let's see, and the 110, I personally hate this tank, it's still garbage even with this. They're upgrading the lower plate, which is nice. Should work. Reload's getting a buff, so 110 actually should be not bad. Here's some nice stuff. Version 4, Wheezy, VZ, and ST2. Version 4 is considered one of the highest performing tanks of its class. Boosting, however, reducing some of its characteristics to compete would be a lot better. Their Wheezy was significantly below their expectations. Hello, a blind man Calcutta saw that one coming there, Wargaming. Puts its efficiency, overall gameplay, its competitiveness. VZ is one of the top performing tanks. It's one of my favorites. It's going to be getting nerfed with some of its characteristics, and the ST2, who's been underperforming, lost popularity since the double barrels came out, which I can agree with. They're improving its overall gameplay, trying to make it more competitive. So, alright, Wheezy buff. Buffing the top speed, they're buffing its horsepower at a ton. Shell velocity is getting buffed. Its reload time is getting buffed slightly with a slight dispersion buff. V4, big nerfs. It's getting slight holster speed. Nobody cares. It's losing 10 kilometers. It's losing 2 horsepower to ton ratio. It's losing losing 100 hit points. It's range fine. Its viewport losing 20 millimeters of armor. It's getting much weaker. Much needed. It's been way overdue. This tank's needed to be nerfed. ST2 getting traverse speed buff. Getting more turret mantlet like this right in here, so it can stop getting this overpenned by dumb shit. 30 millimeters, nicely needed. The reload in between shots going from 5 to 4, or 5 to 4, much needed. Reload going down by a half a second, not bad. It's definitely needed. VZ, I saw this was writing on the wall when it came out. Reload plus 3 seconds, aim time plus 0.3 seconds, reload between shots 2.5. The reload, it's not going to kill it significantly. It's just going to be less as efficient putting out that damage as quickly as it was. Which, again, it is somewhat much needed, but I don't think too many people were complaining about the VZ, but that's just my opinion. And now, the big changes. Chieftain and 279E nerfs. Very much needed. This has been way overdue. People have been complaining and demanding for this for years, at least in the community, from the Reddit post and everything else. A lot of top tier clans are not going to like it. They're going to hate it. Crack's going to complain, and so on and so forth. Because this is how they get their win rates. This is how they farm. Hopefully, with these nerfs, Clan Wars can also change, and there can be more variety of tanks and strategy. Because instead, it's just been 279. People who have the most chieftains, 279Es. Usually, that's how it's been winning lately. Chieftain, losing 6 kilometers in top speed, losing whole traverse speed. Its gun reloads getting nerfed by another point, and it's losing gold standard pen. Now its pen's going to be down to 311, which is about time. Much needed. Been waiting for this for a while now. People should be happy. I mean, it's not going to kill the chieftain completely. It's still going to be a hold down force. It's just not going to be getting into positions like it was, especially because you get things like the Bond Turbo, which would make it go over 50. So to make the chieftains go back to the way it was, they're going to have to put the turbo there on it just to get it. So it's still going to be a force of a tank. It's just not going to be as much of a force of a tank. 279E, losing a bit of hit points, doesn't really matter. Gun reload's getting a second on it. Top speed's getting nerfed by 5. It's also losing 20 millimeters in gold pen, so now it's going to have 320. It's still going to have its armor. If you don't know how to the tank's still going to be a force if you don't know how to take it out. It's plain and simple. That's just really it. Much needed nerfs on both of these tanks. Been wanting these. A lot of people have been wanting these, especially people in the Clan Wars community, just because, hey, it's going to make the Clan Wars, I think, a little more different. I would hope. I mean, you're probably still going to say the same tank. Instead of chieftains, maybe you'll see more supercocks or, stuff like that. But it's just, I still see these tanks being used. I still don't see stuff being changed. I'm just hoping with these nerfs, you don't see these as much in the random queue. You probably still will, but I'm hoping not as often. But I'm also hoping with these nerfs it can make other tanks more viable. Not going to see V4s, not going to see, too many V4s. I hope you don't see too many chieftains, but the problem is with the correct setups and depending on the maps and the strategies, they could still work. It just depends on how often they are going to work. But yeah, Wargaming finally listening to the community. I think this is the first time they've actually gone and done vehicle nerfs and buffs correctly. Some of them don't make sense, like like Descent and the STRV with just dispersion to their hull. That make no sense. But I like how they do the super test preview of vehicle changes and rebalances, and they have the British wheelie here. But you know what? It's needed. Like this, I'm a fan. We'll see what happens. We'll see how much negativity this is going to get from top clans. Alright. Thank you all for watching the video. I hope you have a good one. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, Give it a thumbs down. Appreciate it. Have a good one.